Shalom Aleichem and Baruchim Habayim. Moshe Lagnado here, speaking under the auspices of Kollel, Baruch Avat Yisrael in Southern California, and Sha'rei Tziyon here in Brooklyn, New York. My friends, this week we will be reading Parashat Ekev, and in it there is a fabulous mitzvah. Va'achalto, and you should eat, v'savata, and you will be satisfied, u'beirachta, and you will bless. And I would like to offer another translation, u'beirachta. And through the blessing which you will make, you will be blessed. And if I could share with you a story I heard many years ago. In Jerusalem, not many years ago, there was a man who lived on Rehov Malachi. And one day on Sukkot, his neighbor, by a chance, heard him reciting Birkat HaMazon. And the Birkat HaMazon, the grace after meal, took a long time for him, close to 20 minutes. And the neighbor was stunned because this elderly man was a very simple man, was not a scholar, was not a chassid. He lived his life like everybody else in the neighborhood. But he was shocked to hear him say Birkat HaMazon in such kavanah, with such precision. And he thought maybe it's only because it's Sukkot. But on a regular day, he does not act in such a manner. That Friday after Sukkot, a knock on the door of the elderly man. And who was it? It was the neighbor. And the neighbor saw that he was finishing his meal. And he said, "Can I just wait till after you say Birkat HaMazon?" And the elderly man said, "It might be a little long till I finish Birkat HaMazon." He says, "Why is that?" And he says, "Because I am very meticulous in my saying of Birkat HaMazon." The neighbor said, "No problem, I'll wait." And again, he witnessed that his neighbor said Birkat HaMazon in approximately 20 minutes. He was shocked and dazzled. He asked him, "My good friend, my good neighbor, is this how you say Birkat HaMazon all the time?" And the elderly man said, "Yes." He says, "Where did you get this custom from?" And the elderly man said, "Do you have a few minutes for me to tell you a story, which I will retell right now?" He says, "Yes, I do." He said, "When I was a little child, I learned in a small yeshiva, in a small town in Poland. One of the great scholars, one of the great tzaddikim, was traveling through my village. And the rabbi asked him, the Rosh Yeshiva asked him, 'Can you test my students?' And this great sage said, 'Yes, it would be my honor and my pleasure.' And next day would be an exam for all the students in the yeshiva. That night, we stayed up and studied and prepared to know the topics very well. The rabbi tested us, and he was very happy and extremely proud of us young men. And he said, 'You are deserving of a special prize, and I will give it to you right now. And embrace the prize, for it will serve you well.' The rabbi looked at us and said that the Chinuch, Sefer Chinuch, is a book written by one of the great Sephardic rabbis of the 1200s, claims, and when he claims something, listen carefully, that he who says Birkat HaMazon with the proper kavanah, the proper intentions and the proper thoughts, and carefully, will always be blessed with food, and he will never go hungry. And more so, after the Birkat HaMazon, he'll be able to pray for more, and that will also be answered. I was so taken aback. I said, I will do it. And since then, I said Birkat Hamazon with tremendous concentration. A few years later, the Nazis, Yamach Shemam, came into our town. And I was a short boy and we were going through selection. And the Nazis took 2 pieces of wood and made it like an L. And for you to be able to go to the right, you had to reach the top of the wood. And I certainly was not tall enough. But as I walked past the German guard, with all my strength, I walked on my tippy toes, the highest I could stretch out. And the guard did not notice me standing on my tippy toes, and I had big feet. He said, go to the right. And I sighed, a breath of relief. I continued, but there was another selection. And this selection was, what could these young men do for the Third Reich? And we were asked, each one individually, what can you do? And most of them, 13-year-old, 14, really had no type of profession. A man in back of me said, go and tell the Nazi that you are a cook and that your boss is in back. And that's what I did. And they took me and I worked in the kitchen. And I never had any food missing. I was always satisfied with nutrition because I ate whatever I wanted in the kitchen. The only thing is, I would not eat bread because I knew if I had to say Birkat Hamazon in the Nazi war camp, they might kill me because it took me too long. So I would